Hey, how you doing? It's DecepySwag, and we got something very interesting and strange to talk about coming from SNK. Kicking things off in the new year on January 8th, SNK tweeted out a small animated clip. Nothing too odd about that. They've been doing that for a while with the Mr. Karate Mask and Robert Garcia animation, and then the reanimated death scene of Krauser vs. Terry from the 90s Fatal Fury movies. Clips with no real context, but again, nothing that's too strange or odd for them. But this time around, SNK hit us with the ultimate swerve in expectations, and I can confidently say mine were shattered, no pun intended. The clip seems to hint at some sort of collaboration between the Fist of the North Star franchise and Fatal Fury potentially, showing what seems to be the main protagonist Kenshiro walking into Southtown and hitting the Omae wa mou shinderu on some punks. Now, this 21-second clip has set the entire fighting game community on fire with tons of questions, excitement, confusion, and everything in between. At the time of this recording, the post has over 3 million views. Lots of speculations of what this short teaser could mean in the future, but before we could talk about what this clip could potentially be setting up, we first have to go over what is visible to us in this animation that many folks have pointed out and some may have even missed. Starting off this viral clip, we see a foot step into frame who is obviously Kenshiro walking up to Southtown. I like how they made Southtown look kind of like a desolate area, reminiscent of some vacant town in Fist of the North Star. The sun blotted out by the desert-like environment as if the city has been abandoned for decades. You can tell it's Southtown because of the skyline with the giant building being Tease Tower. Also, I'd like to point out that this art style of the animation is a dead ringer for a body son. Again, for any new folks watching, legendary animator that worked on previous SNK animated projects back in the 90s, along with the opening animation for both the King of Fighters 15 and Fatal Fury City of the Wolves, along with every animation we've seen since involving City of the Wolves. Then it's followed by us seeing these two characters here. Now, in my initial reaction video, I point out that this kid here with the glasses is Marco's student from Fatal Fury. Not only has he appeared in Garou, but he also appears in the background on Marco's stage in City of the Wolves, as well as makes an appearance as an Easter egg along with Marco in the King of Fighters 13 on the Kyokugen Dojo stage. But what I didn't know was the girl he was with in this shot. After looking online and having folks at me on Twitter and leaving comments, apparently she's a character that appeared in the unofficial Fatal Fury manga by Leo Advert, and supposedly her name is Media. There also is a character with this same look that appears at the end of Terry's arcade in Fatal Fury 2 that look extremely similar to her. Now, I'm not sure if they're meant to be the same character or not. You all can let me know down in the comment section below, but for the sake of argument, I'll just assume they're meant to be one and the same. A key thing that folks missed is the piece of paper on the ground that reads KOF, obviously meaning the King of Fighters. Keep in mind, for anyone watching that's unfamiliar, this isn't in reference to the King of Fighters franchise you may be familiar with, Kyo, Iori, and those guys. In the Fatal Fury universe, there is also a King of Fighters tournament, which, funny enough, originated in the Art of Fighting franchise, leading into Fatal Fury, and that spun off into the KOF series we know today. But point being, it's an important Easter egg in the shot. After this, we see our two goons that I knew looked familiar, but I couldn't place where. I just knew that they had these clothes to remind me of 80s Bret Hart wrestling, especially the guy on the left with the glasses and hot pink jacket. Turns out, I was right, because these two are from Fatal Fury 1 beach stage and also appear in the King of Fighters 15 sound beach stage as well, which is meant to be a Fatal Fury 1 stage remake. So kudos to everyone that pointed this out to me, much appreciated. Then finally, rounding out the clip, we have Kenshiro hitting the finger poke of doom, and that classic sound effect hits, then the clip ends. The move is called Hokuto Hyakuratsu Ken. I'm pretty sure I butchered that, but it translates into 100 rending fists. So we've laid out everything about what we know for sure watching this clip, and with everything being laid out, it's time to do what I love to do in my videos, and that's start theory craft. See, in the first few days since the teaser released, I've been brainstorming ideas along with looking online at what folks were thinking of what this could mean. And so for this section of the video, I'm going to be going through some ideas for what potentially could be coming from this teaser. Starting with the first idea, Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star is coming to Fatal Fury City of the Wolves as a playable character. This would be an amazing guest character to have in Fatal Fury, and one that folks would much prefer over having the other two we got instead. A guest character like Kenshiro would be equivalent of Bandai finally putting Tifa from Final Fantasy VII and Tekken, or hell, Goku in Smash Bros. Fist of the North Star is a legendary, and I mean legendary, franchise that practically birthed the shonen genre. Series like JoJo Bizarre Adventure by Araki, especially the early parts, and Dragon Ball by the late Akira Toriyama were heavily inspired. This would be a Hail Mary of a dream finally made reality. And trust, I've gone through and looked at plenty of quote tweets and replies, all from folks that play and are hyped about Fatal Fury, or never played Fatal Fury and now showing a great deal of interest in playing, from just the thought, The pure idea of being able to play Kenshiro in Fatal Fury. For SNK to release such a teaser is already crazy in itself, but something that folks need to remember is that Evo Japan, the 2005 Fist of the North Star fighting game by Sega and developed by Arxis, will be a main stage game. And keep in mind that also there's a brand new Fist of the North Star anime coming out this year in celebration of the series' 40th anniversary back in 2023. Just a reminder, nothing has been confirmed, no statements or anything saying he's going to be a DLC character, but come on, like at this point, I'd be more shocked if he wasn't. Plus the idea of him being a DLC character will also mean that we get a Fist of North Star stage, which would be sick. Maybe even costumes, you know, SNK costumes, you know, hopefully. But this leads into the next possibility for this teaser, and one involving not Fatal Fury, but another SNK franchise, that being the Art of Fighting. Alright, so this next idea I'd say is maybe not as likely as the Kenshiro for Fatal Fury idea, but I wouldn't say it's low as far as how likely. Some have speculated that perhaps this could be something in relation to the Art of Fighting game that's been in development over at SNK. Remember, earlier in the video about the different clips and teases SNK been doing, one of those were the Mr. Karate Mask and Robert clip back in October, that to this day, we haven't gotten any explanation of. And then to tease us even more, Oda-san, for whatever reason, decides to quote tweet that post saying, "What on earth is this?" back in December, late last year. Now, what better way to bring eyes to a new Art of Fighting than to have Kenshiro from Fist of the North Star be involved in some way? Personally, I don't think this is the case though. Besides this animated clip, we've gotten no real information on the development of new Art of Fighting. Again, this isn't me saying that this couldn't be related, but not something I think is happening, or at least not very likely. For the final possibility, and trust me, this one is a shot in the dark, I've seen the idea and hope that this would indicate a brand new Hokuto no Ken game developed by SNK. Now I'm going to say right now, of the ideas I laid out before, this one is the one I'd say most definitely isn't going to be happening, or at least, let me correct myself, the least likely in happening. But I still would like to give some attention to this because, fuck it. Shit would be cool if it did happen. This idea caught me off guard because not once have I ever thought of a scenario where SNK would be making a fighting game that wasn't their own IP. I mean, even now as I'm sitting here writing about this on the script, off the top of my head, I can't think of a single game that's a fighting game of theirs where it's not their characters. Which kind of makes me want to do a video talking about franchises I like to see them take a crack at. Like, just imagining a Saint Seiya fighting game by SNK or something along those lines would just get me excited. But staying on topic, this is a super low chance of happening, but with all things in life, it isn't zero. Remember, a 40th anniversary celebration with the anime this year doing a full retelling of the story, plus the tease with SNK along with the fighting game being at Evo Japan. So who knows, we may be watching Evo Japan and during the grand finals for HNK, we see a reveal trailer. Do I think that will happen? No, not really, but knowing my luck, SNK would love to do something like that just to prove me wrong. It's just considering everything SNK has going on with Sea of the Wolves, the new Art of Fighting, Samsho Action RPG, plus their projects with Eureka, I don't see them throwing into the mix of developing a fighter for a franchise that ain't even theirs. However, what I do see is that we've reached that part of the video where I ask you all an important question, and that's, what are your thoughts? What do you make of the teaser from SNK? Do you think Kenshiro will be a playable character? Maybe it's just a collab with costumes. Perhaps it's an Art of Fighting related, or are you one of the few hoping that it's a brand new Hokuto no Ken fighting game? Comment down below and let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more, then please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and don't forget to tap that bell icon. And while you're at it, for this video, let's try to get around 200 likes. Always appreciate it. Regardless of whatever this could be, SNK is starting the year off strong with getting us hyped. Till next time, I'm DecepySwag. Later.